The fire crackled, casting trembling shadows on the trees that seemed to come alive in the darkness. The night was thick as ink, and the echoes of our voices were lost among the trees. We sat in a tight circle around the campfire, each of us sharing a scary story. But it was my friend Max's story that silenced me and made cold sweat run down my back. "Can you hear the forest breathing?" Max began, and everyone immediately fell silent. His voice was deep and more serious than ever before. "There's a legend about this forest. The locals tell it, but only in whispers because they're afraid of attracting the monster's attention." He paused, staring into the fire. I felt my nerves stretched taut like strings. Something in his words felt so real that even the rustling leaves seemed menacing. "They call it the Soul Eater," Max continued. "They say it has no body, only a shadow. You can feel it when the night becomes so quiet that you can hear the blood pulsing in your ears. And if you notice it, it's the end." "Ah, what do you mean, empty shell?" Someone interrupted him. "Imagine being stripped of everything that makes you you," Max explained. "You become a puppet, a ghost, wandering among the living, but no longer alive. Your soul becomes its prey." Someone threw another dry stick into the fire, and the flames leapt upward, tearing through the darkness. I thought I saw something moving among the trees, but perhaps it was just my imagination. "The legend says the Soul Eater doesn't appear randomly," Max said. "It's drawn to dark secrets, fear, and despair. The more you have of these, the stronger it senses you." He looked around at us, and his eyes lingered on me. For a moment, I felt like he could see more than just my outward appearance. I felt my heart beat quicken. "I remember a man from a nearby village telling me this story," Max continued. "His brother disappeared in this forest. They found him 3 days later, alive. But he never spoke, laughed, or cried again. He just sat there, staring into emptiness. His eyes, they were dead. It was like everything that made him human had been ripped away." The silence around us became eerie. Even the crackling of the fire seemed muffled. No one dared to ask if it was true. "Is there a way to avoid it?" I finally asked, though my voice trembled treacherously. Max shook his head. "No one knows for sure, but they say if you hear it whisper your name, don't answer, don't look back, just keep walking, even if your heart screams in fear." At that moment, something cracked loudly in the forest. We all flinched and stared into the darkness. The fire seemed weaker, and the shadows around us grew longer and more alive. I felt my throat go dry. "It's just the wind," someone murmured, but no one believed it. Then Max leaned closer to the fire, his face ominously illuminated. I couldn't breathe. My heart pounded so hard that I was sure everyone could hear it. And then I thought I heard a whisper, barely audible, like the sound of wind slipping through branches. But this whisper spoke my name. "Jason." I froze. Was it my imagination, or was Max playing a joke? I couldn't take it anymore and ran into the darkness, running, realizing that the whisper had always been inside me.